Internet, it is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to the box office predictions. Today we're going to be talking about Lisa Frankenstein. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Okay, so this movie, it's written by Diablo Cody, first of all. Diablo Cody, she has made and written some interesting stuff. Her first claim to fame was a Juno, which was a big hit back in '07. And then Jennifer's Body wasn't really much of a hit, but it has now become like this big cult film nowadays. It has gained a pretty significant cult following, so that's good. Everything else is just kind of there, but yeah, Juno and Jennifer's Body are like her biggest movies, realistically, her most well-known movies. So yeah, Diablo Cody, and then you got the director, Zelda Williams, who, if you didn't know, is the daughter of the late great Robin Williams. Yeah, Robin Williams. He named his daughter after Legend of Zelda, which is pretty badass if you ask me. Hell, they actually did a commercial together. I believe it was like for like the 3DS release of Ocarina of Time. I believe that's what it was for. But they did a commercial together, and it was really cool. So yeah, and that's not all. We got our leads, I guess. We got Catherine Newton. Has she been anything that I would know of? Oh, she's Cassie in like the freaking MCU. I did not know that. Ugh, I wish I could be like positive, but man, I did not like her in Ant-Man 3. Like she just came off as like annoying. I just want her to leave the screen. I want her to go away. She could have been interesting, but the writing completely failed her and just made her just completely unlikable. But I mean, exposure's exposure, right? Ant-Man 3, it wasn't a hit at all, but at the same time last year, I mean, it opened with 100 million. All right, we're probably not going to see 100 million opening till God. I don't even know. Deadpool 3, and that's like in late July. So, ugh, ugh. But yeah, so we got Catherine Newton, and then more prolific in comparison, we got Cole Sprouse, one of the Sprouse twins, from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Well, this is Cole. We're not talking about Dylan. This is Cole, and he's known for not just that, but also the classic, one of the greatest TV shows of all time, Riverdale. Oh, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm not being serious about that. Riverdale was. I've never seen Riverdale, but I've seen videos of Riverdale. I've seen like like cringe compilations of Riverdale. That show is something else, man. Like it started out so normal, and then it just went off the rails, and to the point where it's just those writers, whoever those writers were, they were. I think someone like said in the comments of one of those videos, they were on some like jingle jangle, which apparently is some drug in the Archie universe. But yeah, that show's wild to say the least. When it comes to actual movies, I mean, it doesn't have much here. I mean, there was 5 Feet Apart back in 2019, which did all right for itself. Did okay. I guess there's Big Daddy back in '99, where he was like the kid like Adam Sandler's character had to deal with, but like he was literally just like a kid. This is like way before Disney Channel. Okay, so he wasn't well known by audiences yet, by my generation yet. But yeah, Cole Sprouse, I imagine like he'd be a reason like most people would even watch this movie because he has a pretty big following thanks to his prior works. So yeah, I'd say like the actors, the writer, director, the pros, kinda minor pros, they make this movie like slightly more interesting. So I'm gonna label them all of them as minor pros. I guess another minor pro is that man, like um, there's no direct comp. Well, there's anyone but you, but that's hella old. Although that movie's been playing since December, and it still has a heart. It's still going. So Lisa Frankenstein has to deal with that. But besides that, there's nothing. Especially when it comes to new releases this weekend, like there's pretty much nothing. I mean, there's like two other movies, but let's be real, they're not going to make a single dent at the box office. This has the best chance of the three, and everything else is just completely dead. I mean, Argyle has some shit word of mouth, so yeah, and plus it's a different genre than Lisa Frankenstein, so it doesn't have to worry about that too much. So I guess that's also a minor pro. Um, trying to think of some other pros. Is that it? Yeah, yeah, I think that's really it. Okay, cons. Okay, so reviews for this movie are not ideal. They're not awful or anything, but they're not very good. It's a 50% critic score. Audience score is a 74%, which is not very good. Its cinema score was a B. Again, not very good. That doesn't paint a pretty picture. So yeah, word of mouth overall is just mid across the board. So I'm gonna label that as a con because that can definitely hurt legs. Another con is that this weekend is obviously the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is very, very, very harmful to the box office. You basically lose a whole day out of the weekend because Sunday everyone is glued to the TV. Nobody's leaving the house for nothing unless to get like snacks or something. But um yeah, so nobody's going to the theater on Super Bowl, Sunday. It just doesn't happen. So, but I mean, this isn't really geared towards the typical Super Bowl audience, dudes. But apparently, from what I've read, apparently there's a lot more female interest in the Super Bowl this year. So maybe that might actually hurt Lisa Frankenstein. But but yeah, Super Bowl it's bad for all movies. No movie really benefits from Super Bowl. So yeah, Super Bowl that's a huge con. Another con is that the marketplace is so damn depressed. So it's so depressed, man. There's if you ask me, there hasn't been a single truly great weekend since Barbenheimer, and that was last July. Okay, and I guess like there was like Meg 2 and Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which both did okay. Plus Barbie and Oppenheimer all doing like making like over like all four made over 28 million, that one weekend. Like that's really great. But ever since then it's been so pitiful with like some brief moments of glory with like the Eras Tour and Five Nights at Freddy's, and not all movies have been flops, but we don't have too many like heavy hitters. We haven't had a true mega blockbuster since Barbenheimer. Barbie and Oppenheimer together. There's been nothing like that. And in 2024, I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. weekend wasn't that bad. It was moderate, but after that, it's just been just awful, straight up awful, and it's no better. According to what I've read from early numbers, this is probably going to be the worst weekend of 2024. So yeah, marketplace is shit, and that is going to drag every movie down. So that's a con. Very depressed marketplace. Um, I guess another con is it's not listed here, but apparently this movie made like what 700K in previews from what I've read, which isn't like the worst thing ever, but it's not good. It doesn't paint a good sign. So I'm gonna label that as a con. Lackluster Thursday previews. I mean, obviously this was never gonna get that much fanfare, but should at least a little better than that. Um, Especially with the lack of extreme competition. Yeah, trying to think of some other cons. Is that it? I guess. I mean, I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I think that's really it. I think I labeled like all the. I bet I've talked about all the main points. So, opening weekend, part of me thought this could hit double digits once upon a time. But that's just not happening. I don't even know if it'll hit 5 million. It may not even. So, like, I guess from early numbers, I guess 4 to 5 million. I'm gonna go with that. 4 to 5 million opening weekend, and it's total. I mean, Valentine's Day is next weekend. Well, not next week. Is next week on Wednesday. That might help it a bit. Although every movie is gonna get a boost because that's just how Valentine's Day works in the movie world. It's the tide that lifts all boats, supposedly. I don't think it's gonna be the case this year because this year is looking rough for everything. Um, so that might help it a bit, but it's after that I don't know about its legs. I think word of mouth might be too mid to save it. So I'm gonna say 10 to 15 million total. And then that's it. So that's Lisa Frankenstein. Now we got two more movies to discuss. One of them just literally appeared on the calendar like out of when I least expected it, Out of Darkness. And then we got Turning Red, our second, you know, Disney Plus Pixar movie finally going to the big screen. So, stay tuned for those videos. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. We'll check out more videos like this. I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year or the past few years. You want to watch any of them from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that, so go do it. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I covered Lisa Frankenstein like once, I think. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. And I'm trying to like pull it up, but it's not pulling up. YouTube's just being very stubborn. um I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, now it's all right. Here we go. Now I gotta find it. Lisa. Okay, this is episode 212. I talked about it alongside Paddington in Peru, Anyone But You, the bike and the bike riders. So those four movies plus Lisa Frankenstein. Those four movies. That's where I talked about Lisa Frankenstein. And I've made several cancel episodes like this week. Literally like 231, 232, 233. I've been talking about Jurassic World reboot. I've been talking about Moana 2, Zootopia 2, Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, Mandalorian, and Grogu. Movies that I don't give a single shit about. That except maybe well, I even heard like Jurassic World reboot. I heard David Leitch was supposed to make it, but that's apparently fallen through. It's not happening anymore. I'm like, well, there goes my interest. You lost me. And I know what's been going on with Coyote versus Acme, that it's more or less dead, but it's not official yet. And once it's official, once like someone official actually says something, then I'll talk about it. But for right now, I'm just gonna hold off when it comes to that. But yeah, I've now made 233 episodes of Canceled. So if you want to watch any of them from beginning to now, you want to binge them all from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that. So go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. January recap, I just made that like yesterday. So you can check that out. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.